Welcome to the 81 podcast. It is your host, Asif Ali. I'm joined today by my college teammate and, current semi-pro, the NCAA Division Two alum, Hashim Houston. And we are here to break down the NFL wildcard weekend. All the stats and the narratives of all the games that transpired the weekend. So, Hashim, how's your weekend, man?
It was all about football. It was nice. So, I I don't know. There's a lot of shout outs to go out there, especially for Cleveland. Cleveland and
Yeah.
Buffalo in their
Cleveland,
first
boy, dog pound, baby.
right. Getting their first playoff wins in over like 25 years. I mean,
Yeah.
that's tight to see. You don't always want to see the usual suspects in playoffs, and I think that's what we were suffering for a while. When we see the Patriots or Green Bay and all these other teams that were accustomed to making it, deep in the playoffs, when they actually make it. So it's like seeing new, fresh blood make advancing.
Yeah.
That's fun to watch. It's always a good story.
I mean, Cleveland, to me, to your point, is probably the biggest story of the wild card round because I mean,
Absolutely.
obviously, like you said, having not won a playoff game over 26 years, like since last, and that was last year the Niners won a Super Bowl. That's how long ago it was, 1994, with Bill Belichick, and then obviously not winning a road playoff game since 1969, so 51 years. It's incredible. It's an incredible milestone for the Cleveland Browns, the franchise, and actually, a shout out to Jason Tarver, who I'm connected on LinkedIn, fellow Foothill High School alumni and fellow West Valley alumni, brother.
Okay.
He's the assistant linebackers or defensive coordinator over there at Cleveland. So big shout out to him.
He was coaching last thing. I would say causing fits.
You know what I'm saying? It was causing some serious fucking fits, dude. I mean, if you're watching that game, they were just swarming the ball. I mean, like every time, especially Myles Garrett in that front four. I mean, that front four is deadly. I mean, if you look at kind of how they got
imagine
after
if we
QB
have Olivier Vernon, if he was healthy.
Oh my god. Ooh, boy. Man, and you know what? Actually, the biggest story from that, I think you and anyone who follows me on Facebook, I'm hoping you do. Basically, Mike Dunn was the biggest story of yesterday because Mike Dunn had not practiced, as starters reps for the past week, and then he had to fill in at right guard. And Mike Dunn did a phenomenal job, just in his first playoff start.
Oh yeah.
Against guys like fucking against what do you call it, Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt,
Stephon Tuitt.
Stephon Tuitt. I mean, it was remarkable effort from both sides of the ball for Cleveland. And actually we were wrong, and we're gonna get through all the picks we were wrong about.
Yeah.
But we were wrong about some of these. We were wrong about Baker, bro. I mean, come on now. We said Baker. I mean, well, his stats weren't really that gaudy. He's still basically a game manager. But
hey, I mean, put it this way: if that's what I'm getting out of a quote unquote game manager, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean.
It only helps if you're up 28-0 in the first quarter.
Man. So we can start from the top and then work our way to that game, because that was the finale of the weekend. Okay. The first game, Buffalo Bills versus Indianapolis. We called this game. I think I did 24-23, or maybe I forgot, or 27-21.
Right.
You called it 27-21. And we were both right. Buffalo won. Or maybe we called blowout. I haven't listened to the last episode, but I'm pretty sure that
first we thought it was going to be a blowout. Then I had to talk about the Colts defense and all that. And it was just like Colts defense is too good just to blow them out.
Yeah.
I had a 27-20 or 27-21 type of deal.
Yeah, same here. So basically, with that game, I think one of the key takeaways for that game, for me personally, was the kind of the QB performance of both QBs. And actually, let me pull up these stats because I have it on my phone. I wrote this down. Basically, on that game at halftime, let me find it. Maybe I don't have. Yeah, I do. At halftime, Phillip Rivers was 13-19 for 167 passing yards.
Sounds right.
And, yeah, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Josh Allen was 11-16 for 138 passing yards and 1 TD. And Allen also had on the ground. He had 6 rushes for 43 yards and a rushing touchdown. So
this is the first half?
The first half. Just the first half. Yeah. So I really feel like the Bills set the tone in the first half, because if you watch the game, obviously, I think Evans, or was it Hill? I think it's Evans, right? Allen was targeting number 13. I believe that's Evans. But let me just look it up, make sure. Because I do know when I was watching the game, right before the halftime, the Bills go on that drive, and they're able to culminate with points. And if I'm not mistaken, Allen was attacking the flats, and the receiver's name was actually no, it's not Evans or Hill. It's his name. It's Davis, Gabriel
Yeah,
Davis.
Gabriel Davis. Yeah,
Davis.
yeah. I don't know. I was thinking. I was like, I don't
Gabriel
remember
Davis.
that name, but Gabriel Davis. He was.
Yeah, I was like,
He was balling. He was balling though.
yeah,
And I think that was one of the major things. That was probably one of the biggest questions coming into the game. Period. Was like, all right, if Stephon Diggs doesn't get going early, where do they go from here? Because I
right.
know Cole Beasley is nasty in the slot. And I know they have their screen game going with Devin Singletary and Zach Moss,
Yeah,
which Allen actually outrushed both of them combined.
he
So
did.
that's a little concerning for me moving forward. But I think the whole game, the game plan was exactly how they intended it to be. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna give you a good heavy dose of Josh Allen. So it's like us passing and Josh Allen making plays with his feet. So yeah, I mean, executing that's just half the battle, right? And then on the defensive side of the ball, Tre'Davious White, made the game-saving play, getting that batted down pass. I think it was from either Zach Pascal or T.Y. Hilton, if I'm not mistaken, but just on how well that the defense played situationally, that was a cherry on top.
100% agree. And actually, let me read those rushing statistics that you were just referencing, because Allen was leading rusher for the Bills. He had 11 carries for 54 yards, 4.9 yards per carry on average, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So those are running back numbers, right? And the crazy part about it, I think you saw I posted this. I was like, Allen is running. This kid's running like a fullback. Because if you watch the run, he wasn't running design draws. He was just going straight through the A and the B gap every single time. And I'm just watching this like, oh my god, like this guy is like, I remember Darius Leonard. He collided with Darius Leonard head on. Yeah, and he kept going. I'm just like, oh my god, like this kid is just. Ooh, man.
And just remember, because they were talking about on the broadcast that Darius Leonard went from 230 to 215. 215.
Yeah, 215.
And they were saying they were talking about on how he has to gear up for bigger tacklers, bigger offensive players like that, where you have to use every fabric of your big just to get somebody like that down. Josh Allen's he's a gamer. He's a force of nature, So he reminds me of a lot of, because people say Ben Roethlisberger. I don't. No. I think he's kind of like he's not kind of, he is a white Cam Newton to me. A big physical guy. He can make the plays with his legs. Throws crazy ass passes with his arm. The only difference is, the ascension's a little, the ascension passing wise, it probably bodes is better for Josh at this point in the field than, Cam was. So yeah, those are the two differences. But at least, we're seeing, the 2018 class actually come into their own at this point.
And that's a very interesting comparison in a comment you just made about the 2018 class. So first, the comparison between Cam Newton, I saw that a lot too because of how Josh was just willing to take the contact, which to some people may be a risk, because that was a huge knock on Cam Newton coming out. Like, I remember John Green on Monday Night Football would be like, I don't like my QB taking these kinds of hits. But look at Cam, he's still playing. But obviously, you still don't want your QB taking those kinds of hits. But to your point, Josh Allen 6'5", 237, 240, just legitimately built the same way like Cam.
Dude.
That's a big ass motherfucker. Like, you're not gonna bring him down just straight up. At least if you're Darius Leonard at 215, you're not gonna bring down that boy straight up. You know what I mean? So, that's pretty much kind of why I agree with you on that aspect. And also kind of your point about class 2018. These playoffs now in the AFC, Baker Mayfield is the oldest remaining quarterback in the playoffs. He's 25.
That's
the
insane.
class of 2018. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield are all starting in the playoffs, in the AFC. It's incredible. It's literally incredible. Just to see how great that class has kind of turned out to be, at least up till now.
Right. Up until now, I think I think Baker will have like next year to show it, like do it again type of thing.
Yeah.
Same with Josh Allen. I know Josh Allen's been getting better every year he's been in the league. Same with Lamar. So I guess it's just wait and see and then just enjoy the show. But like as you said, like being the oldest quarterback left in the AFC playoffs at 25, like that's insane. And then
The future is now.
right, and then the reigning Super Bowl champ is 24, turning 25.
Yeah.
Or is he 25?
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's only 25. Yeah, but yeah. He's younger. He's younger by a few months than Baker. So, yeah, and he's the reigning Super Bowl champ. Now it's funny when you mentioned him. I was actually looking at Bener's stat today. He's actually not only the second African American QB to win the Super Bowl MVP award, but he's the youngest African American QB to win a Super Bowl.
Russell Wilson was probably like
Russell Wilson
youngest.
Yeah. Russell Wilson was the youngest, and then Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes looks like he's gonna probably win another one, depending on how. Well, it depends. It depends on. We'll get there in a bit, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So, I think another takeaway from the Browns, not the Browns game, but the Bills and Colts game. Let me find it. Jonathan Taylor. Man.
Oh yeah.
First half, 14 rushes for 40 yards and a touchdown. He's the first Colts rookie with a playoff rushing touchdown since the 2006 Wildcard, Joseph Adai. And he and I think we're talking about it. Like, he's a menace. He's a menace. I mean, the kid can just do it all.
I liked him coming out.
Jonathan.
Oh yeah, go ahead. My bad.
No, I'm good. Good. No, I'm good. Good.
All right. Yeah. No. See, like Jonathan Taylor. Even one of the thing I posted. He's going to be a top blank back this upcoming year, and I still think he's going to be a top 5, top 8 type of dude. I think most of his skills have been put on display for the last month of the season, and then what we saw yesterday, where they're going to use him to go up the middle. They're going to use him to the outside, use his track speed, and yeah, he may not have had like a dazzling game stat wise, but you could tell his impact meant a lot. Whether it's from the second effort on his runs and the attention that he draws to the defense and opening up holes for Nyheim Hines, because they're tired of running into a freaking freight train like Jonathan Taylor. So, just seeing where the game's at now, as far as the running game goes, and where quarterbacks are headed, we're about to be in for a good 5-year run, man. Real shit.
Yeah. Real shit. I mean, we'll see that Philip Rivers. Rivers finished the day with 27 of 46, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns passed through the air. Jonathan Taylor actually finished the day with 21 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown. So, and Nyheim Hines also finished the day with 6 carries for 75 yards, and so his average was 12.5 yards per rush. I mean, those are ungodly stats. And speaking of ungodly stats, Stephon Diggs, who we were talking about last week, 6 receptions for 128 yards. 21.3 yards per reception and a touchdown. And Gabe Davis, 4 receptions for 85 yards, 21.2 yards per average.
Right.
So Bills have some offensive arsenal.
Absolutely. And I honestly think what had me at, oh shit, Bills won, or at least they're going to win this game, was the touchdown to Stephon Diggs. Like the way Josh Allen flicked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs beat his man. If you saw on the tape, you saw on how Josh Allen looked to the inside first, and then the safety came down and bit. And then he looked off the safety, throws it over the top, easy money right there, pitch and catch, as simple as you'll ever see it. And so when you're watching that, you're like, oh, okay, so they calm down. The nerves are gone. They're about to run. Well, at least you thought they were going to run away, because Philip Rivers was not going to go down easy, because he, I believe there was a point in time where it was 27-16, and I was like, okay, this game is probably over. Then it was 27-24, and I was like, oh, snap, we might have overtime. That Tre'Davious White saving the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I think Tre'Davious White. No, it was Tre'Davious White. I think it was Micah Hyde who actually did the bat down. Micah Hyde was the one who batted it down against Stephon Diggs. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
So that was one thing which I really enjoyed because I tell you, I posted that, you got locked up, they won't let him out. He just went like bah, and then it was like, all right, game over.
Right. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
no, I mean, congrats to the Bills. First playoff win in 25 years for them too, since 1995 Wildcard,
Yep.
Wildcard Divisional, Dan Marino versus Jim Kelly. That was the last time they won the playoffs. So it's a big win.
Damn.
It's a big win. I mean, so yeah. It's milestones, right? Like when you think like,
Milestones
wait,
on
what? Damn,
milestones.
25 years? Okay.
Exactly. No
Milestones
more
on
than.
milestones, man. It's okay. So that's pretty much it. No
And
more
then
what?
yeah, no, nothing. I'll say I'm ready for the next game. I'm ready for the next game. What else we got
Yes,
on the
sir, man. I
list?
mean, and we got a bunch of lists. Now we go to the next one, the Rams and the Seahawks. So obviously, Rams beat the Seahawks 30-20. Jared Goff made his return. And obviously in pretty resounding fashion, but obviously the reason they won wasn't because of Jared Goff, it was the defense.
Right.
That defense is lightning fast, lethal in the front four. I mean, they will swarm to the ball.
Leonard Floyd,
Let me read some of
Michael
these stats.
Brockers, Aaron Donald. Go ahead,
My
read the
God.
stats.
Yeah, let me read you. Let me read you the yeah. So Aaron, so Fox had a sack, 2 tackles. Leonard Floyd had 2 sacks. Aaron Donald had 2 sacks. Okay, that means they got to Russell Wilson 5 times
Yeah.
yesterday on Saturday. So, and Troy Reader had 3 tackles. I mean, it's too much. It's Jalen Ramsey had 3 tackles. It doesn't show me the kind of the pass deflections, but he locked up DK Metcalf. That's also another headline from that game. Again, exactly. Again, I mean, let's see. Jared Goff for Deshaun Day, but Cam Akers. Oh, here we go. This is also another story. Cam Akers, 28 carries for 131 yards, 4.7 yards per carry, and a touchdown. Cam Akers is a fucking machine, dude.
He's a closer.
I mean, the Rams are just looking so balanced. Let me look at the Seattle Seahawks. Anyone have a good day? Chris Carson, 77 yards. No. DK Metcalf, 96 yards. No. Tyler Lockett had that nice catch.
Let's put it in
this
perspective. I'll say Russell Wilson went 11 of 27, 2 touchdowns and a pick. I don't think anyone's having a good day off of those numbers, and I think that says more about the Rams defense, versus anything in this game. That's what, if there's anything you didn't learn, Rams defense is legit, and that's what a Super Bowl defense looks like. Causing fits.
Yeah.
Making your all pro quarterback look mortal as hell. And it's just the way they just played team defense. Like everybody was swarming to the ball, and I felt like everybody was active. I believe what's his name? Hill.
Troy Hill.
Yeah, with that. Oh no, who's the one, or was it Williams? That Williams had the pick six. One of the cleanest pick six.
It was Williams.
Okay. So that was one of the cleanest pick sixes I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, even in practice, I don't think a lot of people, can pick off a wide receiver screen like that. But the way he just did it, you're just like, oh, this game's over. Like,
you're talking. Oh my God, he literally just jumped right through. He jumped it so perfectly, and then literally just like, I mean, I honestly couldn't even see him coming. I mean, because to your point. Yeah. I mean, the way that he had the patience and the anticipation to just kind of just set, and then when the moment Russell is about to turn, he get lightning, he's there, and then boom, you get pick 6 to the house, and like you said, I mean, it was a very, very, it was a key, it was a critical defensive play in my opinion, because
absolutely
that's because John Wolford wasn't doing. John Wolford actually was moving the ball pretty effectively before he got that hit, before he sustained that hit from Adams, right? But essentially, like Jared Goff was not doing anything up to that point, So when you get that pick 6 and you get points on the board like that, you have to be commended. I mean, that was a phenomenal play, phenomenal play by Williams.
Absolutely. And Jared Goff, I mean, hopefully his thumb heals up, because they're gonna need him to be better in Lambeau if they want to have a shot. I'm not advocating that Wolford's better than him or anything like that. It's just, I mean, this is the playoffs, so like if Wolford can go, I mean, you got a big decision on your hands, right? Jared Goff, we know he's $100 million guy, but 12 days from a surgery. Clearly, he came back too early. He had to come back because Wolford's hurt. So, I guess my question would be, if you're Sean McVay, who do you go with for this game?
Right. I mean, and honestly, it's a tough call because, I mean, I don't think Wolford's cleared any of the protocols yet.
Was it a concussion or was it a stinger in his neck?
I have no idea. I mean, I know he was carried off. I mean, everyone saw the images of him in the ambulance, being carried to the hospital in the stretcher. But I'm not sure exactly what the significance. Well, let's look it up. Shit. I
got you. Yeah.
John Wolford was just. I mean, he was playing good up to that point. He'd gotten down to the 20. He was making some pretty solid passes. He looked kind of comfortable in there.
And he could run. That's another good thing. Let's see.
Yeah, it was. McVay said, I think it was really just a stinger.
Yep.
He definitely seemed good. Yep. And then Wolford returned to Los Angeles on Saturday night with the team. Okay.
Okay. So, and it says day to day.
Day to day. So pretty much, they'll monitor day to day. Then, I think then to your point, it's a tough decision because Wolford did get his legs, his feet kind of wet, kind of with that start, but he wasn't able to finish the game. Jared Goff has, is your experienced starter. Jared Goff, like you said, but it's tough because, you trust experience almost every time. However, in this situation, Jared Goff isn't 100%. Right. So it's like, what are you going to do, right? Are you going to go with the guy who you has experience? Or are you going to go with the guy who you're going to stick out there and keep, and he looked pretty good. He looked like he was doing pretty well up until the hit, Yeah. It's a tough decision if you're any head coach.
Well, I guess, hey, you know what? I got $100 million tied up to this guy, so I think I'm just going to go with Jared Goff. Because he did. Well, I mean, to be honest, he showed grit I didn't think he had, And when he threw that bomb to Cooper Kupp, and I was like, okay, that's.
Oh, my God.
I was like, that's him getting back into the groove. Because earlier, remember, those were ducks and all that stuff. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And then once he heaved that shit down and Cooper Kupp adjusted, made that catch, and then it was like, okay, he's about to settle down and make better passes from here on out. Because I think he was 1 for 5 at that moment and finished off the game like 9 of 19, I want to say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not going to win a lot of games like that. But, but at least, so that means he went 8 for 10 for the rest of the way, if my math is right. So,
yeah.
Or somewhere around there, like 8 of 15 or some shit. But I think you would just go with the experience on this one, especially in Lambeau, because that snow is no joke.
That is not a play. That's not a place where we want to thrust a rookie in to have his first start, especially on the road.
Right. But that means, hey, that all that means is Cam Akers is about to be a busy man again.
And actually, let me actually pull up the full stats for Cam Akers' performance, because I'm glad I took a screenshot of this. So Cam Akers, so here's his full stats from the postseason debut: 28 rushes for 131 rushing yards, 45 receiving yards, and the touchdown. Yeah. And his rushing yards are the most by a Rams rookie in ever, and it's the all-time most rushing yards by a Rams rookie in the postseason debut.
And this is with a franchise with Eric Dickerson, Marshall Faulk, Todd Gurley, Steven Jackson, even though Steven Jackson never really went to the playoffs, but you get my point. That's a crazy ass lineage, And and then I think I bought into Cam Akers when they were beating the shit out of the Patriots, and I was like, okay, no, this kid is their closer. This is like, what if he's healthy, that's their guy. So Malcolm Brown was, he was all right, but Cam Akers, that's the draw for that offense.
And honestly, I think kind of to what we're talking about the QB situation, I don't really think it's that big of a deal if you have that guy running the rock and Andrew Whitworth coming back and looking like how he did on Saturday, because if you have that guy, and not to mention this, David Bakhtiari is out for the playoffs.
Yeah, he's been out for the season. Yeah,
he's out for the season. So that means that whoever is at the left tackle, that you're missing your all-pro left tackle. You're basically that the left side is gonna be vulnerable. So Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, it's it looks like the cards are basically falling in order. The cards are just the deck is stacked, and it looks like the Rams they may if they're able to kind of play sound football, they might be able to capitalize. Because like I said, or like I posted on social media on Facebook or whatever, I'm like, Rams are playing old school smash mouth football. Great defense, pound the rock, don't pass unless you really have to. But when you do pass, make sure your passes are effective. And we saw that, like you said, with the Cooper Kupp throws. I mean, oh my God! And the Robert Woods throw. Oh, I mean, the Cooper Kupp throw. When he turned around and got it right before. I don't even know what the corner was on Seattle, but I was like, whoa.
See, I'm all trying to think. I was all trying to think of the name too, but it was one of those passes where it's like, if the receiver wasn't worth a shit, that's an interception. But Cooper Kupp had to turn around, adjust his body, jump, do the reach, and you're like. So when you're watching it, you're like, shit, this is a bad throw. Then you're like, oh shit, that was a nice catch. Yeah. It's crazy on how those things actually work out like that. And then, but yeah, no, like to your point earlier too about the defense, I think just for the pure fact that you have a front four that's that quick and fast. That helps out, your crazy, your good corners and Hill and Ramsey, and then, the safeties making plays in the back. I think this game is going to be closer than what people think. I still have Green Bay winning, but I don't think it's going to be like, you're in the frozen tundra, y'all about to get smacked. It's about to be like, oh no, this is going to be a dogfight to the very end. That's what I think.
Right. And by the way, we were both wrong about picking the Rams with the Seahawks.
Yeah. I mean, I believe, in Russ we trust. I got burnt. So
yeah, but to his credit, he did what he could with what he was dealt with. I think Seattle has so many as a team, they're not as good as advertised. Russell Wilson has been the sole reason why they've been able to make these runs, these late regular season and like early postseason runs. And I think Schneider and Carroll need to figure it out, and I think they will. But it's just at the same time, it's like, well, you're putting.
What can you do?
What can you do? But great season for Russell Wilson, 40 touchdowns. 12 picks. So.
Like 12 picks, record. 13 picks or something like that. Yeah. So
but TDs. So
now they have to just go back to the drawing board. So.
and actually, one more stat before we go on to the next game. The Seahawks, that was their first home playoff loss since the 2004 NFC Wildcard.
Wow.
And that was also against the Rams. So they basically snapped a 10-game a home win streak, which is the third longest win streak of all time. The Rams snapped that on Saturday. Yeah.
Who's number one?
Like my point was when I introduced, I don't know. I can get up. Let's see.
Okay. I'm curious.
Yeah, let's see. Who's number one? Longest playoff home streak. This is all time, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
So this isn't active. This was the longest active one. It was the Patriots. The Patriots had.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, 11, I believe. Yeah, 11. 2009, 2020. Come on now. There's fucking Patriots. They're not gonna lose at home. So it's like, all right. So yeah, that and it was a good game. It was a good game. So, and now we move on to the night game on Saturday. The Washington football team versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Washington football team to 31-23. Let me look at the stats. It looks like obviously Alex Smith wasn't starting. We both picked the Buccaneers to win that game. We were both right. Washington, Taylor Heineke had 26 of 44. He was 26 of 44, 306 yards and 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was also leading rusher with 6 carries for 46 yards, 7.7 yards per carry.
Yeah, he was
and
balling.
Touchdown. He was balling, and Sims had 7 receptions for 104 yards and 14.9 yards per average. That's pretty good. Tom Brady, obviously, 22 of 40, 381 yards, 2 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette, 19, and we talked about this. Leonard Fournette, 19 carries, 93 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. And Mike Evans was leading receiver with 6 carries for 119 yards and 19.8 yards per carry, or yards per carry. 90.8 yards.
I got you. I got you.
yards per catch, yards per reception. So yeah, pretty much. What are your key takeaways from this game? Because for me, I was looking at this and I'm like, Taylor Heineke just came out and just was storming.
So it gives me pause about Tampa Bay's defense as a whole, because Taylor Heineke is a third stringer, right? And you're telling me that a Todd Bowles led defense is allowing Tyler Heineke to do this to you. Tyler Heineke's good. Don't get me wrong. It's no disrespect. It's just, there has to be a reason why he was, undrafted and didn't get, the opportunities he got. He is the perfect example of seizing the opportunity,
Right.
and he didn't play scared. Literally he was just playing like this could be my last game ever. And that man balled out,
Right.
and they asked him to do like, it was kind of like, you know what? This is the game plan. And if you can kind of extend the game with your legs, by all means, do it. It's yours. And actually, I think he probably played a little bit better than I would have expected out of Alex Smith. Because he was throwing darts down the field. He was able to move around, with his legs. And I just thought he played with like a confidence that, he's played with that, that certain confidence that you need to have, especially when you're going against somebody like Brady.
Right.
But, if anything, my takeaway would be Tampa Bay's offense is red hot, and their defense needs to get that shit short up, because there should be no way in hell that a third string quarterback should be throwing 306 yards against you, period.
100%. And I think I was watching Undisputed, they talk about it, but I mean, this is just my test. I mean, forget Undisputed, but they basically echo what my eyes told me, that Tampa Bay secondary is not that good. I mean, yeah, they have a pretty good front four. Linebacking core is, pretty solid, but their secondary is not good at all. I mean, it's gonna when we get to next week, when Tampa Bay has to go to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome out there in the Bayou, and they have to go up against New Orleans. They're basically it's gonna come down to which offense puts up more points. You're gonna have to put up 30, and I mean the big question is, can New Orleans beat the Buccaneers 3 times in one season? Because no one's done that to a Tom Brady team in God knows how long, right? And essentially, yeah, exactly. So I mean, pretty much, I believe they will. And we're fast forwarding to next week's predictions, but just because my initial reaction when I was watching the game on Saturday, pretty similar to yours. Taylor Heineke, as good as he is and as great of a story it is, right? He's not supposed to be doing that.
Yeah,
he's not supposed to be doing that. Like, there's no excuse for that, right? And on top of that, if you look at kind of, I think the Buccaneers O line is great, and they did a great job neutralizing Chase Young. However, they still did allow 3 sacks, 2 from Payne and 1 from someone else. So, I think ultimately when it comes down to it, my key takeaway with Taylor Heineke looks great. He's going to be up for a contract extension. Alex Smith, we'll see if he's going to be there next year. I mean, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt Alex Smith's prospects if for next season. I mean, they're going to have to compete, obviously, but Alex Smith, like, depending on what his goals are, if he's going to come back next year with Washington, then he's going to have to compete with Taylor. Taylor's now the new hot buzz, and his future may not be as certain as it was, prior to the playoffs. So,
well, I mean, I don't know if they're going to give the keys to Taylor, but we'll see.
Right.
Like you said, I mean, I wouldn't be fooled by one game. I mean, even like the other games that he played in, it was like he did all right, but it's like, there's a reason why.
yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, nothing. But I'm just saying, like, but Terry, to our assumptions about Tampa Bay, about their offense being red hot, we're seeing Antonio and Chris Godwin getting their footing, as far as like the target hierarchy goes, and seeing Antonio Brown get reverses and getting wide open catches and passes. Gronk was only targeted once yesterday. I mean, a couple of days ago, which is insane, and that just, I think Tom Brady kind of Tom Brady and Brazilians wanted like this offense to be like that, just in case, like, if the defense fails, hey, if we lose a few weapons, we have more people up, that can produce the same.
Yeah.
So, and I think the biggest question for them is, can they overcome like the psychological horrors that they had to face with New Orleans? Because New Orleans, they fucked them up 2 times in a row. So we'll see.
One thing to that point, I was looking at Leonard Fournette's stats yesterday, and the last time he played the Saints, he had 19 carries for 93 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, basically, for a touchdown yesterday against the Redskins. So he ate. Last time he played New Orleans, 1 carry, 0. and the leading rusher had, I think, 1 carry for 9 yards. That front, and we're gonna get to the Saints game in a bit, but that
Yeah.
front four of New Orleans is one of the most. That is the Shannon Sharp started on Friday. That front four with Cam Jordan, those boys are just nasty. They are. Oh my god, they're terrifying.
They're
I mean, I'm not gonna say they're better than the
fundamentally
Rams per se.
sound. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very sound. And not only that, if you look at the secondary, like what's his name?
Janoris Jenkins.
Not Lattimore, the other guy.
Marcus
Yeah,
Lattimore.
yeah, Jackrabbit, Lattimore.
Marcus
No, who's the
Lattimore.
safety though? I forgot. Yeah, I forgot the safety. Anyways,
let's see. I kind of forgot too. I know
that's fine. Whatever. I mean,
Marcus Williams.
Yeah, Marcus Williams, right? That
Yeah.
secondary looks great. They look great. Obviously, they played the Bears, and we're gonna get that game in a bit. But pretty much, I mean, when we talk about previewing next week's matchups, I mean that does not bode well for Tom Brady. I mean, yes, they have all the weapons, right? But however, New Orleans has guys that can go up against their weapons. Marshawn Lattimore is Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he's just been a force since he came to the league. Janoris Jenkins, obviously one of the best corners in the league. The safeties up top with the linebackers, right?
Yeah,
are you telling me that yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Malcolm Jenkins and Marcus Williams.
There you go. Malcolm Jenkins is there free, like, I mean, dude, like, that's their free safety. Like, how are you gonna you know what I'm saying? Like that's 3 all-pro members of the secondary. That's basically like Legion of Boom 2.0, just on paper. And seeing how they did against the Bears, I mean, how I mean, like, I don't see it. I just don't see a way. You have to go to the Bayou. You have to go to the Superdome. Well, you haven't won all year. Last time you went there, you lost. I mean, what, 38-3? No, or was it the first one, 26-20, whatever it was?
Either way,
it was 38-3. Yeah, no, you lost 38-3, and now you're gonna go there, and you want me to believe just because you got AB that you're gonna win? I don't think so, brother. I think y'all gonna have to. You're gonna. It's gonna be a long day because you're gonna have to put up as many points as Drew Brees, and this is Drew Brees probably his final season. So you know, they're gonna come out. They're gonna come out guns blazing. I mean, I mean, yeah.
And you know, the crazy thing is, you know, they're not even scoring points like that as far as New Orleans. Like, it's not like they're coming out and blowing the brakes off you, like throwing the ball all over the yard. They're using Alvin Kamara, number one. Whether it's inside rushes, outside zones, him and Latavius Murray setting up the pass and all that good stuff. And then Drew Brees is doing his masterful, hey, here we go. I'm gonna dissect this, dissect that. 5 yards, 10 yards, 7 yards, 3 yards. Like, it's death by 1,000 paper. It's kind of like what we saw with the Patriots years ago. Not years ago, but like 2 years ago, where it's like dink and dunk. We're gonna, death by 1,000 paper cuts, and then put in Taysom Hill for like a changeup, deep ball, here and there. So, and then we actually saw a Michael Thomas sighting. So he finally gets his first touchdown in about a year.
Right.
But like I think what's going to set this apart is, can New Orleans defense can they stop the red hot Tampa Bay Bucks offense? So, absolutely.
I mean, when's the last time the Saints lost?
I mean, I mean, you're not. There's no lies being told. I'm just saying,
exactly.
I'm just saying. Remember, regular season is different than the postseason. So
I understand.
Right, exactly. You already know. It's just so hard to sweep somebody 3 times, and can you imagine somebody sweeping Tom Brady 3 times? Probably not, but it's possible. It's possible. I got New Orleans.
Very possible. I mean, and that. You got New Orleans what?
I got New Orleans in that game anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, I honestly believe that we're gonna see history made. This coming Sunday. Was Sunday? Yeah, Sunday at 3:40. That's the last game.
Yeah.
Of the divisional. So, yeah, I think New Orleans. Yeah, they're gonna. it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna say it's gonna be fun. So, I think if New Orleans, like you said, the defense will have to play fundamentally sound. We're gonna have to play really, really, mistake-free defense, right? Because Tom Brady, what he's done this year, also what he's done in New England, the team that makes the most mistakes, Tom Brady always capitalizes on your mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whatever you give him, he'll take. So you're gonna have to play very mistake-free defense. Limit the penalties. Just make sure that you do what you gotta do. To get the
Knock the
win.
shit out of them.
Yeah, knock the shit out of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get to the Saints game
Yeah,
next
yeah.
after
Well, yeah,
after yeah, okay.
All right. Got ahead of
Yeah,
myself. Got ahead of myself.
yeah, no, we good. All right, so the next one is it's the Baltimore Ravens and Tennessee Titans. And we're both correct with that pick. We both picked the Ravens, so that's great.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson got that monkey off of his back. He's like, all right, the monkey's off my back. I won a playoff game. All right, yes.
Yeah.
So Lamar, let me get the stats. I believe Lamar Jackson finished for 179 yards through the air.
And
On the
36 on the ground.
136 on the ground. So no touchdowns, but 17 to 24, but 16 yards. I mean, he was just lighting it up. I mean, that 48-yard TD run. And it was funny because I think I posted earlier today on Facebook that Michael Vick, when he was on Undisputed today, they asked him, like, no, does that remind you of you? He said, yeah, it does. Because it's like just willing to kind of slice and dice and just run through whatever the defense gives you. Is pretty much Vic's kind of, Vic's elusiveness is kind of what Lamar Jackson is having. And it's like what Shannon Sharp said. It's like Lamar Jackson's so fast that by the moment your defense turns around, if he's right there, usually if you turn around and yeah, exactly. If you turn around guys right there, you're good. Because you can wrap and you're pretty much or you can grab and then just take him down, form tackle. But with Lamar Jackson, you like I said, if he's right there and you turn, you're done. you ain't catching him. You know what I mean? So credit to Lamar Jackson for a great performance.
Right, one of the few.
One of the very few.
Like just outrun angles. So Randy Moss was able to do that. Deshaun Jackson, Vic, of course. Kyler Murray's in that conversation where somebody has like an angle and he just breaks it somehow. And then of course we could go all day about people who could make people look silly with those angles, but those are the ones that I know that are like most notable. Where I'm like, God damn, that is some otherworldly speed, man. But I'm happy for
and actually
that, man. So
I'm totally happy for him. Actually, if we do the comparison of rushing yards, because now we have to compare the other side. Lamar Jackson finished for 16 carries, 136 rushing yards, 8.5 yards per rush, and a touchdown. Derrick Henry on the other side finished for 18 carries, 40 yards, 2.2 yards per rush, and no touchdowns. I mean, and it's hard to compare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean, one, you're dropping back, and then you have that space. So like, if you're ultra fast, then you're gonna get extra yards. But I think. I mean, this was one of the few times I've seen Derrick Henry play where I'm like, it's either A, he's tired, or B, defense just said, fuck this. We're not letting you, punk us anymore. You know, and it was like what Shannon Sharp says, like, you got to attack his feet. You have to make sure that he's redirected and he's not getting a full head of steam. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure me and you talked about this already, and I know I've talked about it with a few others. Derrick Henry runs so high, he doesn't really run behind his pads too often. So if you're attacking his feet and he's one of those striders, you could bottle him up like that. And I think a lot of teams this year, they look at him and they always just say, I'm gonna make a business decision today. I'm not trying to get hurt. And, and this is why, this is why they got Calais Campbell in the first place. This is the exact reason why.
Right.
We're not letting this man punk us no more. So.
And honestly, it's not a knock on any defender in the NFL, because the fact that, like, it's almost like when guys play LeBron. Like, you don't want to be standing there in the post or in the restricted area and take a charge, because that could mean you're ending your career. Because when you have a man that big, that dense, muscle-wise, coming at you full speed, that fast, it's a recipe not for disaster. I mean, I mean, there's reasons why. So, but yeah, like to your point, Baltimore, the defensive line, the backers were just the defensive line, the backers are swarming. They're swarming Derek. They're swarming King Henry. Still the Russian King. He's still the best back in the league, in my opinion.
Absolutely, No, this doesn't mean anything about. This doesn't dethrone anybody. This is just one team showed up on defense saying, "You're not going to dominate us today," and Tennessee had no answer.
Right.
I mean, simple as that.
And also another thing to note was that, I mean, the final score was 20-13. I mean, it could have very well gone Tennessee's favor.
Oh, absolutely.
For like a few different plays, and Mike Vrabel, Coach Vrabel was on the podium talking about after the game. He basically said that, had, the defense played as well as they could. I mean, it was nothing for anyone to really be, kind of upset about. It was nothing for anyone to really kind of hang their hat on, or they could hang their hat on their defense, because I mean, like, as even though the outcome wasn't favorable, they still did a great job, so.
And then of course everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, I don't know if you heard about this." Like, the whole thing that started off the handshaking, Malcolm Butler when he picked up shit, and I think that was probably like the turning point of the game, for their sideline, when they're like, "Yeah, you know what? Y'all disrespected us for the last time." Like, real shit.
Bro, I posted the Marcus Peters pick. When Marcus Peters picked that off and he started dancing on the Tennessee logo, he spins it, does that little oh man, that was icy. Yeah, go ahead.
That was probably one of my like top 5 easily favorite moments of the weekend. Because it's like, there we go, that's the Baltimore I know and love. Like, hey, fuck that.
Yeah.
Do your thing. It's like, get the pick. It's like, get the pick. Dance on the logo. Y'all iced it up. It's just like what the legendary Steve Smith said. If this play was third down and I have AJ Brown on one side, Corey Davis I think was out, and then I see number 14. I don't know who he is, but he shouldn't be getting the ball in that situation. So, and that's what Steve Smith said about number 14. He was like, "No, that's not the guy who I'm passing it to."
Yeah, exactly. And I forgot who they targeted on the last play, but the guy who fell when Pierce got the pick, the top receiver. I forgot his name.
Yeah, exactly.
That to me was like one of the biggest gaffes of the weekend. Just like, he fell. I mean, no one even touched him. He just fell. I'm like, dude.
It could have been man. Like, he was probably thinking like, if I catch this, I'm a fucking hero, and if I don't, I'm a goat somehow. Like, I don't know. Like, he's, I mean, I'm not making fun of him, but it's more of like when you're thinking, like, being empathetic in the moment. Like, if we were out there in that situation, young kid trying to make the team, make an impression, and it's like, hey, third down, you got it. We're going to you. Man, what are you gonna think? You're like, oh yeah, this is my time. He probably did think that, but at the same time, he's like, shit, if I drop it, it's my fault. And then not only he didn't have a chance to drop it, he fell. He fell.
Man. I mean, that's exactly it, bro. I mean, like, for me, I look at it and I'm just like, you know what? I think had he just ran his route, and I mean, and like he I mean, I don't know, man.
I think it's just being nice, but I think, I mean, he's gonna remember that forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, man. That was just wow. Yeah.
Well, now we know for sure what Tennessee needs to do in this offseason. They need to get pass rushers.
Right.
They need, and I said that last week too. Somebody like just generate a pass rush. They have the DBs. They have, they have okay linebackers, like, good enough. So it's just like, other than Jarrell Casey, like, who is rushing the passer here? Nobody. Jadeveon Clowney out. Like, played like a half. And then Vic Beasley, they got rid of him after paying him. He never amounted, to his billing. So it's just like, I think, they just need to reload on the defensive end, and then they'll probably be, even better than what they were. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to start using Darrington Evans a little bit more, just to spell Derrick Henry, so they don't run him to the ground next year. because it's always like an alarming rate when your running backs around 400 carries. So, look at Christian McCaffrey. He only played in 2 games this year. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to overload,
yeah.
but you can't really load manage the NFL, right? But
No, you
still,
can't.
you want to
No,
make
you
sure.
can't.
Yeah, you gotta make sure that your guys you get the rest. You get the
Yeah,
rest, but you get the rest. So, and now obviously when we preview to next weekend, kind of Baltimore's not going to play Buffalo. What are you looking for in that matchup? For me, I'm looking at the top QBs of the class 2018. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson going at it. There's going to be a lot of intrigue, and because you have two great teams really going at
yeah.
it. So,
I
kind of,
got
what are you looking for in that game?
number one. I got Baltimore winning. Um,
Yeah.
Two. What am I looking for in that game? I want to see. I think it's going to be a culmination of each quarterback's growth, so to speak, to this point. So, for Lamar, for example, I've been saying this for at least this whole year. He gets better every year. He makes good decisions with the ball. And I think what set him apart, after they went 6-5, till now, is the fact that now
Hmm.
it's like a combination of his maturity of, okay, I know when to throw it this way, but then I know when to let my talents take over. And
Right.
I think when they were 6-5, he was trying so hard to make plays with just his arm to prove, oh, I can pass it. And it's like, yeah, we know you can, but if you can run, run. Like do what
Right.
do what you do best, and that's not a slight. That's a fact. Like you're hyper athletic, so you're instinctual. Do that shit. Like fuck all the other stuff. you know, so I think this game is gonna say a lot about their growth to this point. And then for Josh Allen, you know, if things get out of control, can you rein yourself back in? Because I think
Right.
what Josh Allen tended, even last year's playoff game, they played well until the game started getting away. And then he started playing outside of himself, trying to play like a wild pony. And then you see all these errant throws, and then it's like you could tell that he was pressing. So, and we saw shades of that happen in the Indianapolis Colts game, where we're like, dude, what are you doing? Just calm down, relax, and I think what the Bills are in danger of is being too Josh Allen dependent. You
That's the
know,
issue.
yeah. So but if that's what works, then hey, do it till the wheels fall off. So I think it's going to be a good game as to how both quarterbacks have matured up to this point.
And I think you make an interesting point because obviously the Bills being so dependent on Josh Allen, um, he delivered ultimately, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and Lincoln Kennedy said this when he was on last week. Um, the Bills, Josh Allen doesn't have the experience. Lamar Jackson has been. This is his third consecutive year in the postseason, making the postseason.
Yeah,
Now he won. Josh Allen don't have the experience, but they have the same number of wins. But still Lamar Jackson has more experience in
yeah,
the postseason. So it's just. I agree with your assessment. I think Josh Allen. This is just my personal opinion. I think while Indianapolis is a very good team, they played very poorly yesterday. They played on Saturday. They played very, very poorly in my estimation because if you look at that game, it was just like sloppy, because like you said, Josh Allen, they relied heavily on him to like make these throws. And he did, but he had to
yeah,
he was flustered a lot.
yeah,
And if Baltimore's D line comes to play, Josh Allen, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a very long day for Buffalo.
yeah,
So I think ultimately, if Buffalo needs to tighten up the screws a little bit, and
yeah,
they can't play down their competition. They have to play up, because they are the hottest. They are still like technically the hottest team in the league. They've won 7 straight, and
yeah.
now including the postseason. So they have to. Josh Allen just has to play. He has to play his best football to beat the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
The Buffalo Bills have to play their best football to beat the Ravens, and they can do it. So,
Yeah,
um,
I think they can. I'm just choosing, Baltimore just of what, you know, clear of what we see, what we both saw, right?
yeah,
You know, and And I think, I think another thing too is the Bills defense. They have a bend it but don't break mentality. Where it's like you're going to get yards on them, but situationally, when they need that stop, they get that stop.
Right.
But I think, yeah, just something just tells me I think Baltimore's experience and their game plan is gonna trump that shit. So they're gonna win the time of possession. And Lamar's just gonna you know be be fantastic. That's what I think.
100%, 100%. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to a great
Yeah.
game next week. So and now we'll get to finally the Saints, the Bears. Not finally, but the final game of the NFC, the Saints and the Bears. Saints won that game, I believe, was
Yeah.
it 21-3? Yep,
21 to
21 to
9.
3. 21 to 9. Oh, I got the last touchdown, Jimmy. I mean, I don't count that long because it's garbage time, and it looked nice, but
Either way,
I
yeah,
mean, I don't
yeah. We both got that one right. We just said like, nah,
know.
Bears
Yeah,
have no chance in hell. I mean, Mitch
yeah, we
Trubisky.
did. We
I've seen enough of him to know like what I'm gonna get. Is he a good quarterback? No. Uh, no, he's not. It's not like I'm not even gonna say he's a good quarterback, but he's not great. No, he's not. He's below average. He could have his moments where it's like, oh, hey, Foles go. Of course he could beat the Detroit Lions. Of course he could beat the Jags. But no, if a defense is ranked like 1 through 15 and you're struggling like you did, that tells me everything I need to know. You know,
eh,
and I don't know. New Orleans was like they're like a top 5 defense this year, and yeah, he was victimized by that one drop, but there should be, but there was so many other opportunities he had to make up for that he didn't, and that's what great quarterbacks do, or even hell, even good quarterbacks do, but he didn't do it. You know.
and also to your point, I mean, I think a lot of it was the play calling. Matt Nagy's play calling was not innovative at all, and he was brought in to be this offensive guru, this genius, working with wherever he was from, Philadelphia or
It,
Kansas City. Yeah,
it was yeah, it was Andy Reid.
it was Andy Reid.
Yeah.
I saw that in person when I was living there in Chicago in 2018, and kind of to your point, and we're going to talk about this because that's the next matchup for the divisional. But when I watched the Bears play the Patriots, kind of the dink and dunk, which is what New Orleans employed all year. The dink and dunk, Tom Brady. That's what killed that. That's how they beat the Bears that year, and when they won the Super Bowl. So now you watch this team, on TV, and teams figure them out after 1 year of film, and they just look like they're lost. They don't have any. They really don't have any kind of new adjustment or any scheme that's effective, at least not in the NFL. So I mean, you look at this. I mean, like Mitch Trubisky was what 19 of 29 for 199 yards and a touchdown. The leading rusher was David Montgomery. He was balled up. 12 carries, 31 yards, only 2.6 yards per carry. The receiving, Allen Robinson, 55 yards, 9.2 yards per carry. I mean, Mitch Trubisky is obviously, not that great of a quarterback, but we have to give credit to New Orleans secondary. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah,
saw way
absolutely.
too many great plays. Malcolm Jenkins with the pick six. Obviously, Malcolm Jenkins, Janoris Jenkins was George Jenkins was a second leading tackler yesterday with 5
Yeah,
tackles on the day. Lattimore with the breakup, that clutch breakup, I think, to Rob. Like, I mean, these are the things that define a playoff team. If you're going to be a good playoff team, you have to play well on both sides of the ball. It can't just be
absolutely.
a great offense. It can't just be a great defense. You have to be able to put it all together and kind of get the momentum going on both sides and maintain that kind of consistency through from the start to finish. From all 4 quarters. And I think Drew Brees, he finished with 28 of 39 for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, obviously, we're going to get into that. We'll get into it now. 23 carries for 99 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, and a touchdown. And to add on the receiving end, Alvin Kamara had 2 receptions for 17 yards, and Harris actually was leading receiver for 7 receptions for 83 yards. And then Michael Thomas had 73 yards and 5 receptions, and a touchdown. They're balanced. They're too balanced.
Yeah.
Offensively and defensively, the Saints are way too balanced, and I mean because they have too many ways that they can exploit defenses. You know,
Absolutely.
whether it's Alvin Kamara on the play action screen or coming straight out, to the A or B gap, whether it's Michael Thomas on the perimeter, whether it's Harris or whoever else, if there's number 2 or number 3 option, there's too many ways for them to beat you. Whether it's the defense with Cam Jordan, with fucking Gardner, Brown, Rankins, right? Rankins? Oh,
Yeah.
golly, Rankins. Oh my
He's a
God.
monster, man.
A monster.
He's a monster.
Lattimore. The list goes on. The Saints are too balanced on both sides of the ball. A team like Chicago, who had no business being in the playoffs,
No
basically,
business.
the game played out as anyone could have expected. I do think the Saints need to do better. Granted, the Bears do. I will give the Bears credit because their defense is phenomenal.
Yeah, their defense is phenomenal.
Yeah, the defense was able to get the strip sack, fumble, kind of on. I'm not sure if it was Hill or Drew, whoever it was. I think it was Hill. But essentially, the defense played well. That's why they held the Saints 21 points. But
right.
with that said, I think the Bears defense is still a little bit better than Tampa Bay's defense on both sides. And secondary was getting torched, but I still think Tampa Bay's secondary is not that good. If you put Drew Brees against the secondary in the Superdome, we saw it yesterday. It's not even counting Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield, also being like being optional on the bubble screen. There's too many ways that they can exploit and just slice and dice defenses, like you said. There's too many ways. Obviously the Bears are pretty much done. I don't give a shit. I'm not even gonna talk about them. I'm so sorry. I want to talk about the Saints. The Saints win, and now previewing next week the 2 old men, Tom Brady and Drew Brees. Basically, two geriatric QBs who should be on a wheelchair, but they're basically still playing. Essentially, tell me what you're looking for in that game. Let's talk about that.
Well, and hey, I mentioned it earlier. Tampa Bay, that offense is hot.
Say it.
At least I can get my Skip Bayless on. Tampa Bay. But yeah, their offense is red hot. I gotta say, Ronald Jones, man, look, you pulling your during the pregame warm-ups, honestly, probably open the door for Leonard Fournette to ball out, just so, he can put out some good tape out there. But it's just like, so like, I guess when you're looking at, the offense of Tampa, you're looking at, Mike Evans, who has been known and, seeming to get shut down by Marcus Lattimore time to time. Janoris Jenkins on Chris Godwin or AB, whoever you want to put them on. They have, good enough corners to cover the slot, here and there. It's just, I guess at this time, Bruce Arians and Brian Leftwich have to call a well-balanced game. Because I think the biggest issue I had with one of their losses was the fact that they ran the ball like 5 times. It was like what you said. Leonard Fournette only carried the ball once, and somebody else like 3 or 4 times. And it's like, if no, we don't go into, good football teams' houses and expect to pass the whole entire time. We saw what happened against, the Steelers. They don't have a run game, and that's what happened. They just got the shit blown out of them,
Yeah.
So if I'm BA and Leftwich, I'm like, okay, we're going to be balanced. We're going to establish a run, play action, because our line's good enough to, to at least give us some time. Tom Brady could, he's Tom Brady for God's sakes. So, so he's good enough to take advantage of some of that stuff.
Right.
And they've been together long enough to where now they're actually hitting a stride. So that's what I'm looking for on Tampa's side. And then of course, clearly they need to do better with coverage in the back end. But I think they'll get a sack or 2 on Drew Brees or Taysom Hill. And then New Orleans, just do what you do. I think they're like one of the best well-run teams in the league. And they're fundamentally sound. They know what they are. And they know their identity, especially within the last 3 to 4 years where it's like, hey, we're a balanced team. We run the ball, but, we're creative and we make sure that we don't put our QB in harm's way. So,
right.
I think, it all comes down to pressure. If they could pressure Tom Brady, make him uncomfortable, get him off his spots, and the receiver, and the DBs on this New Orleans side, he can bump those receivers off their routes. Shit, they'll get it, and I think that one's gonna be a close one. I'm gonna say 31-27.
Yeah, 31-27 New Orleans. And actually, being a Tom Brady, the oldest player to throw a touchdown pass in NFL postseason history. George Blanda held the record at 1970 NFC Championship game at 43 years and 108 days. Yeah, Tom Brady broke that record for now. He's the oldest player to ever do it at 43 years and 159 days. That is the only record that he's going to set this postseason. I believe their season ends next week at the Superdome. I'm going to pick the Saints to win 35-29, somewhere there. So, I mean, or 35, 31, somewhere close. Close game. Both. It's going to be high scoring. I mean, that game's going in the 30s. But I do think the Saints are going to come away with the win. I don't see the Saints losing at home. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the only time they lost at home in the postseason was last year against the Vikings. This team, I mean, they looked vulnerable yesterday against the Bears. However, the Bears defense is that good. The Bears defense is legitimately that good. Khalil Mack,
absolutely.
Hakeem Ayers. I mean, they're phenomenal.
The corners. I was at the corners. Eddie Jackson.
Right? Yeah,
Eddie Jackson at safety. Like, that's not a hamburger defense. That's low key a Super Bowl defense. Low key.
And actually, if we want to talk about the Bears, all the guys in Chicago may be listening to this. Oh my gosh, should they keep Nagy or should they get rid of him? I mean, dude, like fucking. I mean, like I don't care, dude. Like Nagy at this point in this career, he's been for 3 years. Trubisky's been there for 4 years. This is Trubisky's fourth full year as starter. Like
get rid of Trubisky.
Yeah, get rid of Trubisky. I mean, Nagy, if you give 1 more year, sure, but like you guys,
it's not going to do anything.
I mean, you passed. Good.
Sorry, my bad. I'm just saying. This is what I'm saying about Matt Nagy, and I'm being like 100% honest.
Yeah.
So he brought Nick Foles in there to be his guy, and we saw how that turned out. They had a losing streak with him in there. Yeah. And that just tells me everything I need to know. Like, no, Matt Nagy, he's probably going to benefit off of a new start somewhere else because it's not going to be in Chicago.
Exactly, and he will get an opportunity because he did make the playoffs twice in 3 years. So you owe him that much, and I think ultimately, kind of to your point, essentially with Matt Nagy, he needs to go to a team where he can have more gimmicks and schemes. But I think ultimately, I mean, forget Matt Nagy. I think ultimately, back to Ryan Pace, the GM, they passed up on just Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes in 2017. Now they have an opportunity to get Deshaun Watson. I don't think they're going to make that move. I think they're going to I mean, it's going to cost too much money for an 18 that wants him. So Deshaun may end up staying where he is. But I mean, we're talking about coaches that lost their job. Doug Pearson got fired today. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I mean, after a certain time, Doug Pearson won a Super Bowl like less than 2 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. I mean,
I mean that was coming. So the writing was on the wall. Not after the first year. I think 2019 was kind of like, it's riding up there where it's like, where's the direction of this team? Yeah. It seems like the same people are hurt every single year. There's always something going on in Philadelphia. No one can quiet. We already heard about, Wentz being a quote unquote diva quarterback, or, people out there not agreeing with how he plays the game, or, Doug Peterson being like, oh, he needs to do it, my way and within the system. And then when he does it, then it's like he struggles. Then it's like, it's just so many, it's too noisy. So
right.
Yeah, I saw that coming. And then clearly he had a chance to save his job today about selling Jeff Lurie on his vision, and it didn't work.
Right.
Like, they said, I will keep you if I believe in your vision. So that means the owner and the GM were like, fuck that now. Yeah.
Well, that's what you get for trying to intentionally lose.
Yeah.
If you intentionally lose last game of the season, you bench Jalen Hurts. I mean, Emmitt Smith talked about it. Like, I mean, that's basically a quitter mentality. Like, you don't, what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't intentionally throw games,
Yeah. So. Never. And I'll say, and then some people are like, I don't know why you're so upset because, now you're from 9 to 6. There's nobody worth it. Like, okay. it's a good like okay, you know what? No. So who cares if you're 9 or 6 for a draft spot? No. The fact is you play you it's like going to work. You don't go to work with no pride.
Facts.
And especially as an athlete, who wants to go out there and lose? No one does. Regardless how bad you are. Do you
All
think
about these, baby.
right. So you think teams that go 0-16 or 5-11 or something like that actually want to lose? No, they don't. That's horseshit. It's like they go out there, they put their bodies on the line. Goddamn, give us at least give us a chance. And I think him taking out Jalen Hurts, once I saw that, I was just like, oh, it's over. If I'm the GM, if I'm the owner, I'm like, that was embarrassing. I don't give a damn what you were trying to do to the Giants. I don't give a shit about that pretty stuff. I pay you to win football games.
Right.
Not to be strategic. I play fucking chess up here. I'm the owner.
Right.
I'm saying you're the coach. You play you coach to win games.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, actually, the owner doesn't even play strategy. He just cuts the checks. The GM is the one who's the strategist.
But you get my point. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. No, you're right. But I mean, and also to your point, which I agree with. I mean, we were part of an 0-10 team back in college. I mean, at the end of the day, did we enjoy losing? Hell, fucking no, we didn't enjoy losing. We went out there, we got competed, we got our asses beat, and we own it. At the end of the day, guess what, man? Hey, so what? You live with it, but you know what it teaches you? You don't do that shit again. No one likes that feeling at all. You know what I mean? Number one. Golly. So, absolutely. Yeah, I think ultimately, I mean, yeah, the Bears. It's up to them at this point. They literally are a QB away from being a Super Bowl contender, legitimately. And they're already a playoff team without a quarterback.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's incredible. That's how good they are. And I mean, I hate seeing great players like Khalil Mack and Akeem Ayers and whoever else, Allen Robinson, just get their potential wasted. You know what I mean? It's just yeah. So yeah, I'm glad we talked about that. Anyone listening in Chicago who saw me play when I was with these boys right here and I got this? Yeah, you want your boys to get this? Yeah, make some changes. Fucking assholes.
I was saying that goes for Pittsburgh too.
Oh, now here we go. All right, the finale. The finale of the weekend. The Cleveland Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 48-37. Baker Mayfield finishes the game with 21 of 34 with 263 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's actually much better than I thought. That was 217. The Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger, 47 of 68. He threw the ball 68 fucking times. 47 of 68 for 501 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions.
Yeah, those are Madden numbers where you're just trying to kill the clock or set some records.
Pretty much. Shannon Sharp said best. He called it empty calories. Empty
calories. Skip.
Empty calories. Skip. Empty calories. Skip. Juju Smith-Schuster talked the most shit before the game. Had 13 receptions for 157 yards. I mean, these numbers don't mean anything. I mean, literally, the Browns. The Browns, either they can't cover for shit or they just didn't care at that point. You know what I mean? Because they knew that the game was wrapped up.
They didn't give a shit.
They didn't give a shit. And like we talked about, our boy Nick Chubb, the best pure runner in the league, 18 carries for 76 yards, 4.2 yards per average. The reason why he doesn't have a scoring touchdown is because he was the second leading receiver with 4 receptions for 69 yards with 17.2 yards per reception and a TD.
Yeah,
versatility.
That boy Kareem Hunt, man.
Oh, Kareem Hunt.
He had 2 touchdowns.
8 carries for 48 yards, 6 yards per carry with 2 touchdowns. I mean, these are the types of things you look for in a playoff team. You look for these types of these fucking what do you call these monsters? Kind of like you back in your day, just kind of run right through.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Just
physical tough running.
Physical tough running. You know what I mean? Kind of like in Jarvis Landry had 5 receptions for 92 yards. 18.4 yards per average on a touchdown. Obviously not, I'm not comparing you to an NFL player, but I'm just saying, essentially you just want to have guys who are willing to go in there, not worry about the contact, and do what they need to do to help win the game. Right. And I mean, these are the things. And let's look at the defense. MJ Stewart had 9 tackles with a pick. BJ Godson had 8 tackles with 2 assists. Jackson had 7 tackles with an assist. I mean, you have a bunch of guys trending towards over 5 tackles. 4 guys with over 5 tackles on the day, and 3 players with an interception. I mean, actually 4 players with an interception. I don't believe there's a single sack. So that's the scariest part about this. The Browns didn't have a single sack yesterday, but they dominated. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like, and Myles Garrett was demanding the double team every time he came across the edge. If you saw that,
Right.
yeah. So
Definitely noticed that.
yeah, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this, brother. I mean, God, what were your impressions about yesterday the finale of the Wildcard weekend?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Like I felt good about my pick of using like the Steelers. I was like, yeah, Steelers should win. I mean, they almost
We
came
both
back.
picked them. We're both wrong again,
Right.
dude. Goddamn.
Right.
Fuck.
Wait, hold on. We weren't that wrong this week. I think this was the biggest one we were wrong
I know.
about.
Yeah. Just but
yeah, but either way, it was just one of those things where we're like, I mean, just given by what we saw week 17, I was like, there's no way. And I didn't trust the Browns as an organization being like, yeah, Kevin Stefanski, but now that guy's gone. Like,
coordinator.
What the hell,
Yeah.
And for them, once you saw that first snap go, I was like, oh shit. And then they scored, Carl Joseph, and then I'm like, okay, all right, well, Steelers, here we go. They're about to, make something happen because this is the playoffs, baby. And I'm gonna get on that organization a little bit later. And then next thing you know, pick, then more turnovers, and then Cleveland actually capitalizing on turnovers, 28-0 in the first quarter. I don't even what? That's unheard of. And then after a while, it was like 35-7 or 35-16. And I think when they started scoring again, I was like, oh yeah, Cleveland's putting this. They're closing the door on this shit.
Yeah.
And I think this perfectly sums up the Big Ben and Mike Tomlin, tenure for the since 2010.
2007.
No. But I'm just saying, like, when did they win the Super Bowl again? 2007.
2000. They lost in 2011, 2010 season.
Okay,
yeah.
So since that time is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's like Pittsburgh Steelers have had, really good looking rosters throughout that time. Especially, the famous or infamous, depending on how you look at it, the Killer Bees, right?
Yeah.
So Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. I thought those were one of the most Super Bowl ready offenses, if there ever was one in the league at that time. And then it'll make it to one playoff game, lose. Or maybe make it to the divisional, lose. And then it's just like, there's no substance here,
Right.
And I think that trend's still going around where it's like, you have the Steelers, maybe this year it was just like, the injuries to Bud Dupree, Joe Hayden, all that stuff, but they had no running game what to speak of, whatsoever. John Connor's gone.
James Conner's done. Yeah, he has to be.
Yeah, and Juju, it's like you can bring him back, but do you really want to? Right, exactly. The fact that we have to shrug and be like, I don't know, it's just like shit, man. And then Chase Claypool's special. I think he's a good player, but it's just like you have all this talent, and then it just goes nowhere,
Right.
And then of course you have T.J. Watt on the other side, who's an absolute beast, Mika Fitzpatrick, and then it was just like what we were talking about earlier about the Eagles having loud noise. It's just too loud over there,
Right.
We're hearing all these reports. Oh, this person has 20 pages of notes on the Browns. And then it's the same old Browns. It's just like, what the fuck you guys talking for? It's playoffs.
Exactly.
Like it's any given Sunday. On paper you guys may be better. Lineage wise, you guys may be better. But just remember, everybody has a chance in the playoffs.
Right.
So, I think it's just, this is more of a indictment on, I think it's more of an indictment on Ben's age, because he looked old, and and the fact that the Steelers just, they shit the bed, man. It was just a classic mess up. So.
Yes, they shit the bed because they came out flat, but you have to give credit to the Browns. I mean, they came out
absolutely.
Play.
Yeah, they shit the bed, but the Browns whooped that ass.
They whooped that ass. Oh, boy, that defense is swarming. Oh, wow. I was sitting there watching that. Yeah, go ahead.
And the fact that the Browns, getting back to the Browns, and on that side, either way, disgraceful. Like what Stephen A. was saying, that was a disgraceful performance by the Steelers because it was.
Yeah.
But the Browns, it's like the Browns are playing like the Steelers used to. They're running the ball. They're playing efficient. Their defense is causing turnovers, even though their defense wasn't good and like that to begin with. And what people forget is they were missing 2 of their starting corners. 2 of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this should be easy money for the Steelers, right? No, wrong. And like you said, no sacks. They were literally just picking the ball up wherever they can. They were running down the throat, throwing it over the top when they could. So like you said, I think this is more about Cleveland Browns handling business than the Steelers pissing it away. So.
Yeah, because the Steelers did come back and they did score points, and they did. The final score is 48-37. It wasn't like a complete blowout. It wasn't. It was a 2-possession game to close out the night. But ultimately, I think Stephen A. These guys on national TV, especially Stephen A. He just tries to do like shockwave. He's not. I don't take him credibly. He never played, dude. Like how am I supposed to take you credibly if you never played football in your life? Like you play basketball. You know what I mean? And even with basketball, you always talk about I have a very strong relationship with this player. I know his cousin. I know his uncle. I know this. I know that. I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck if you know what anything. Tell me what your opinion is. What's your take? That's what I pay to. That's what we watch. We don't. Shannon Sharp. Boom. What is it? Say it. Okay. Boom. Skip, like and it's all like that to me is kind of what I love because Shannon Sharp is just so uncut and you can tell when someone's played they can go into detail with everything and just like slice and dice. Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless aren't able to go in detail with everything though because they have too many topics to address. That's why we have platforms like this so we can go into detail with the X's and O's, right? You know what I mean? Especially the scoring plays. Obviously, the last touchdown the Browns scored, Nick Chubb. They basically they set the middle screen, and back to Michael Dunn. Michael Dunn did a great job right guard, basically opening up the lanes for Chubb and for Hunt. Basically, and with that kind of neutralizing Cam Hayward, neutralizing Watt whenever Watt came his way, and essentially then that way Nick Chubb just literally was able to just break through and dodge to make people miss. Kareem Hunt was making people miss. He went right through guys and just like these like short yardage or like the last touchdown for Nick Chubb I think was almost like 30 yards, 25, 30 yards, 20 at least 20, over 20. And it like a receiver out of the backfield or like a back receiving out of the backfield, right? It's phenomenal. These are types of things that make playoff football. A good defense, a great run game, a quarterback who can sling it, and to Baker's credit, the touchdown to Austin Hooper before halftime, a touchdown to obviously, and the different ways the Browns are able to beat the Steelers. Baker Mayfield gets a hell of a lot of credit. The 3 touchdowns I believe is second most in Browns postseason history by a quarterback. Which is laughable.
I'm just laughing because it's like, dang, the Cleveland Browns really won a playoff game.
Yeah.
It's like, woo.
Yeah.
Good for them, though. Happy
and here we are the Monday after, man, breaking it down, man. Michael Dunn will do great. I think now we have to fast forward to next week, right?
Oh wait, hold on. One more thing. Because I think Baker Mayfield said it was either Michael Dunn or somebody else that he literally introduced himself to minutes before kickoff.
Yeah, it could be Michael Dunn.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And I think ultimately when you look at it, outside of the stat sheets, Peoples-Jones, what I saw was a team that was ready to play. Actually, Austin Hooper, Nick Chubb, and Landry, of course, that's what I was forgetting. Landry, that first touchdown when he broke everyone on the defense's ankles. Pittsburgh should fire the defense for letting Landry just do y'all like that. Yeah, if Mike Tomlin, if you're listening, Dan Rooney, if you're listening, man, fire them all, man. Y'all good. Rebuild, draft. So, but no, really though, like Baker Mayfield did great. Obviously Jarvis Landry did great. Nick Chubb, who we both agree is the best pure runner in the NFL. Best downhill runner. Best pure runner is Derrick Henry. We believe Nick Chubb is the best downhill runner in the NFL.
He's definitely. And as far as explosion, I'm gonna give him that top 3 class right there.
Yeah, Nick Chubb deserves a hell of a lot of credit. Obviously, my friends of Cleveland, like Mike Weaver, come pick me a shout out if you listen to this. I mean, diehard Browns fans their whole lives. I mean, this is a phenomenal moment for them,
Yeah,
And and and
absolutely.
and I think ultimately, kind of, when you look at it, Sandejo, I forgot Andrew Sandejo's on the team. Andrew Sandejo's like one of my favorite safeties. He never gets fired, or he gets fired and
No.
he finds a new team, and he still ends up playing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's no, I mean, hell, he's what you. Yeah, I mean, he's a journeyman, but at the same time, he's solid. You know,
Yeah,
so it's not like when you look at his name on the roster, you're like, ugh, like what the fuck? Nah, it's like, oh, okay, he's solid. He's a solid teammate. He can, you can plug and play him in like many different systems. He's good at what he does. So
and that's what you want. So I mean,
yeah,
pretty much the Browns, they came together and they won, but now we had previews next week, the final postseason matchup for next, not the next final one, but obviously the final one for this episode.
mm,
The Browns are going to go to Arrowhead, where they're going to play Kansas City Chiefs. So talk to
yeah.
me what you're expecting.
Well, I do not expect them to get clapped like Chase Claypool said.
Yeah, yeah,
Salty ass.
yeah,
But
salty ass.
but at the same time, I mean, yeah, the Browns are gonna lose.
Yeah,
But I don't think it's gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be like embarrassing or anything where it's like, dang, Browns just got, messed up. It's gonna be. I'm expecting them to run the ball a lot more than they did against the Steelers. No, first and foremost, to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. I think that's probably the best way to do that because you don't want to, you don't want to pass too much, because then you're going to be like in the, arms of Chris Jones and, um, and the other, defenders out there, Tyrann Mathieu playing into their hands and all that good stuff. But it's just, but I expect them to be running the ball, being a little more balanced. I mean, being balanced, number one. But I think they should lean towards the run more. And then on Kansas City's side, with that defense, oh my God, Kansas. I expect Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill to eat, man.
yeah.
Like I
That
like,
secondary, it's not the defense, it's the secondary. They can't cover
yeah,
for shit.
yeah,
I mean that's the issue. I mean the reason why the Steelers came back because the Browns corners, Jackson especially, they were getting beat. Later in the game by Juju, by Deontay Johnson, by Claypool. So I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
At first I was talking to a friend about like, oh, okay, 35-29, but it might be 34-20,
yeah,
and just to be nice, But I think that Cleveland will make it interesting in the first half, and then Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes again.
yeah.
Despite him not playing too well, down the stretch, but he's one of the few players where I'm like, okay, we don't have to worry. So
And it's funny you mentioned that because 20 of 22 players from the Super Bowl starters from the Super Bowl team last year returned this year. In addition,
yeah,
Patrick Mahomes being the one of the 20. Um, they have they have cohesion obviously. But ultimately, yeah, I mean the only way you can beat Patrick Mahomes is literally if you knock him every play. And how often are you really going to be able to do that? I mean, that's just, I
exactly.
mean, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, it's going to be very difficult. If you can't generate any sacks against the Steelers, I mean, you're going to have to play much better against Patrick Mahomes and Arrowhead. The
Yeah,
Browns are basically playing with house money at this point because no one expected them to
yeah,
be here. So I mean, if they're able to do, if they're able to win, great. If they're not, great story for the year. I mean, the
right,
story of
exactly,
the season, in my opinion. And so
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. So, and I mean, obviously, I mean, Baker Mayfield, good for him, but Patrick Mahomes, I mean, the weapons like like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Travis Kelsey, Tyreek Hill,
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell, Miko Hardman, Sammy Watkins. I mean, like
It's embarrassment. It's embarrassment of riches.
it
You
really
know.
is. I mean, the rich
Yeah.
get richer. I mean that you want you you want to talk about the wealth gap in this country, the 1%, the 1%. Yeah, there you go, Kansas City. Oh
Oh
man.
shit. But yeah, man, I honestly I just don't believe that's like a like a shot at the Browns or anything. It's just like it's. I mean, we see it. Everyone sees it. It's like damn Kansas City. They're balanced too, but at the same
They're
time,
the
it's like
most
they
balanced
could beat
team.
you in
Too
10
many
different ways.
ways. Too
Yeah,
many ways. Travis Kelce's in that argument. He's getting to argument of like being the greatest tight end of all time. Tyreek Hill is arguably, the best receiver in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is undoubtedly the best quarterback and the best player in the NFL. Andy Reid is the greatest offensive mind in history. We're not even factoring the defense. Tyrann Mathieu, Honey Badger, their front four, Chris Jones, Frank Clark. How do I know these guys? Because they beat the shit out of my Niners in the Super Bowl, and I got to see that. We all got to watch them, and we got to watch my Niners dominate and championship game, then go to the Super Bowl and get, lose by 2 touchdowns. After holding a 2010 lead with 8 minutes left. So ultimately, yeah. The Chiefs, you can say they are beatable, because they've been beaten once. No, well, it depends.
They're beatable, but how many times are you gonna outscore them like the Raiders did?
Yeah,
not a lot of times.
Not a lot of times, yeah.
And it's like, and that's the scary part about how good the Chiefs actually are. Because it's not like they lost a slugfest or anything. They lost in a shootout where it's like, well, hey, Raiders did their thing that one time.
Right.
So I think it's going to be more of the same where Patrick Mahomes might start off a little slow and then he's going to pick it up probably around like the third quarter, and then you're just like, God damn, the complexion of the game changed just like that. It's like the Steph Curry effect,
right.
Like how they say that Steph Curry is so he's so great at the three that he could change an entire series in a matter of minutes, not a game, minutes.
Right.
So Patrick Mahomes has that type of effect to me.
So. Yeah, the Mahomes effect, man. So it's gonna be interesting, So I'm looking forward to these games. I'm looking forward to the divisional round, because we're gonna have some really solid games coming up. We have a divisional matchup with the Saints and the Buccaneers. You got obviously the Ravens playing the Bills. Two quarterbacks from the class 2018. You also got the Rams playing the Packers. Great defense. Great offense. Shout out to Abdul Mehdi if you're listening to this, man, because I know you're a Rodgers fan, but you're also a Rams fan. So I think he picked the Packers. I can also see the Packers very well losing if the Rams defense comes to play. It just depends. If the Packers are flustered, but then again, the Packers haven't looked that bad this year. Against good defenses, especially against the Bears in the regular season finale.
I think the only knock that I had on the Packers is the reason. The other reason why I was like, Aaron Rodgers, most likely he's going to win the MVP, but he's just not mine because of what I saw. Yeah. It was when they got the shit beat out of them by Tampa Bay when I was like, what just happened?
What just happened?
Yeah. So it's just like, but I
will say this though, that's a different Packers team than what we've seen since.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I'm willing to give okay, Tampa Bay, he can swing, but I'm still giving it to the Saints just because I think they're just a better team overall.
They are a better team overall. Much more well balanced.
Yeah, exactly. So here we go. I got a question for you then. Since we got Packers and the Rams coming up, who's going to win in this matchup? Devontae Adams or Jalen Ramsey?
Oh, don't do that to me, bro. You put me on the spot, boy. Let me tell you something. I watched Jalen Ramsey the past 3 weeks from week 17 against DeAndre Hopkins, DK Metcalf, and now this fucking week against the guy, Devontae Adams. Man, dude, it's gonna be tough. That matchup may very well determine who wins this game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was just like, because it's either Devontae Adams either going to go off or he'll disappear,
right?
And then Aaron Jones might be the hero for the Packers.
Correct.
And you're trying to pick something like that, but Devontae Adams with his crisp route running, solid hands. I think he has good run after catch ability, so he's not like I'm gonna catch it and get tackled and that's it. No, he has wiggle. But it's like Jalen Ramsey, they don't make a lot of corners like him. That's 6'2", 200 something pounds. He's faster than Richard Sherman was. He's a physical freak. And I think, me personally, I think Ramsey's gonna get him fixed. I think Devontae Adams is gonna have 5-6 catches for 55, 60 yards. Not a lot, but I think that's going to be one of the most determining factors of this game. So
And I agree with that because obviously with Jalen Ramsey, it's kind of to your point, he's not just faster than Sherman. He's not just a better cover corner on one side of the field. He's better in man. He's better in zone. He's better.
yeah, yeah,
He's better.
He's the best corner in the league.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
the best.
I don't remember seeing a corner this good. Honestly, I've never seen a corner, at least not since maybe,
Darrell,
but
I would say Darrell Reeves and
Darrell
Dominique
Reeves.
Johnson.
I mean,
I
Domby.
mean,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean, Patrick
he
Peterson at the peak of his powers.
at the peak of his power. Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm saying, there's some. I mean, there's some good corners out there. But But to your point, Jalen Ramsey, as far as like the physical package and putting it together on the field product, yes, I could see that
Has
because it's
Jalen
not like
Ramsey? Have we ever seen Jalen Ramsey get beat?
once I did against Antonio Brown.
Okay.
It was in the AFC Championship game, but no, sorry, excuse me, divisional game. But they, Jacksonville won, so it didn't really matter. But
Yeah.
but if there was anybody that beat him, it was AB. That I
AB.
saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine somehow both our picks are wrong and the Rams and the Bucks win out this weekend, and then we get to see that matchup again. 81
Well,
forever,
shit.
baby. But I mean, I would have to pull for Jalen because I mean, just his story of his comeback from Jacksonville, from a very dysfunctional franchise, go to LA and just have a career resurgence. I mean, same with Marcus. I almost feel like the Jalen Ramsey Marcus Peters trade was the best thing that could ever happen. When Marcus Peters got shipped off after Jalen Ramsey came to LA and Marcus Peters got sent to Baltimore, they've both thrived so much in their new situations. You
And
know,
I think, I'm glad you mentioned that because, people always talk shit about those two. I mean, like, oh, they talk too much, or they're troublemakers, some stupid shit.
fucking soft ass pussies, bro. Come on, keep going.
Right,
Talk that shit, boy. Come on
but
now.
it's like, but it's it's like what you said. It's like I think with a lot of these talented players, sometimes it's all about new scenery and a new voice in your ear. Maybe for Marcus Peters, listening to Sean McVay wasn't it.
Right.
Especially when you saw all these people, leave and get shifted around. It was probably like, man, fuck, am I next? So then he goes to Baltimore. Now he's with Marlon Humphrey, and Jimmy Williams, and multiple defensive leaders and leaders within that organization and on the team where they're like, hey, it's like, hey, what's up, bro? I got you under my wing right here. Like,
Yeah.
let me make sure you're good. And then for Jalen Ramsey, we all, most people that follow him knows that, yeah, he talks, but at the same time, he just wants to win. He just wants to be in a situation where, like, okay, it's not like Jacksonville. I want us, I want a front office that is actually dedicated to winning. Because if you're dedicated to winning, you're going to get the best out of me, period.
Right.
And, and you notice, we didn't hear him, talk too much, we didn't talk any, crazy stuff like he used to back in the day. He'll still talk, but at the same time, it's like he's more about his business because he already got paid, and he's showing Rams back and kindly like, this is what you're getting out of me. You believed in me. This is what I'm doing for you right now. So
Let me and let me add some context to your point because you made a very good point right there. The perception of these guys being trash talkers and kind of me, I don't like it when people talk shit off the field.
yeah,
I don't like people saying personal shit off the field. I don't like you talking about me off the field.
right.
What does Jalen Ramsey and Marcus Peters do? They
talk
talk
shit.
on the field, right? So
On the
that's
field.
what you have to do to be successful in the sport of football at any level. You have to get a mental advantage. Let me show you an example. Marcus Peters, and actually no, let me show you an example of kind of why the fans are in the wrong for kind of labeling them that way.
Yeah.
Marcus Peters during 2018 when they made a Super Bowl run, one of the fans were saying we're coming up talking shit to him. Marcus Peters, where you from? Talk that shit. Fuck you mean? Where you from, huh? Where you from, homie? Where you from?
Yeah.
And then you have to go, but you have to be restrained back. Jalen Ramsey, same thing. Like, no, these fans talk about, oh yeah, the Eli's gonna beat you. Jalen's like, okay, y'all gonna keep talking because when the game starts, y'all gonna be real quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That to me is a hallmark of greatness because
absolutely,
that you're telling the fans that guess what? You can talk all this shit beforehand. It's like what Charles Barkley said to about the Joy Beastons. So because Rick Mahorn and Bill Lambier, they used to knock him down all the time. And Charles Barkley said, all right, boys, y'all can keep doing this extracurricular shit, but eventually we're gonna have to start playing basketball. Eventually we're gonna have to start playing basketball. Eventually the game's gonna start. You have to play. People are gonna see how good or bad you are, and the film doesn't lie. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
essentially, I mean that's exactly it, bro. I mean, I think that to me is the hallmark of a great player because if you're able to back it up on the field, talk all the shit you want.
Talk all you want.
Talk all you want.
Not you, Juju, but
Juju! Choo choo.
I
Choo
was-
choo. Choo choo. All aboard the L Express. Juju the choo choo Smith Schuster wagon.
right. But
Yeah.
no, you're right though. It's just like hey, that's just how some people. That's how some people are fueled and wired. It's like I need to talk smack. I need to get you out of your game.
And it works.
And it works. And especially being a corner, that's outside of quarterback and receiver first years, corner is one of the hardest positions to play because you're out on an island.
Yeah.
It's you and the guy. You have to do whatever it takes to throw him off your game. It's like a heavyweight, boxing match out there. So you gotta like you have to anticipate routes. You have to be mindful of tendencies. It's insane. So it's like whatever you need to do to be successful, do it. So
Exactly. Because ultimately, I mean, it's your win or your loss. It's your opportunity, your stats, your highlights or not. I had last few guys, Brandon Jackson, Colby Griffin. Both of them played corner at one point. Most recently, they both did. Colby Griffin was a corner at TCU, and he got to play. He's playing in arena football right now out in Texas. And he had to transition from QB to corner, and he said he talked about how difficult that transition was. You know what I mean? And obviously, because he had the speed, he had 4.44, he could roll. You know what I mean? But he basically had to learn how to work. And this is what obviously I played slot. You know this. I played slot, so I had to obviously because the corners can run. If you're a corner, you have to run as fast backwards as a receiver and laterally as a receiver is running forwards. You have to be able to keep up with that man running sideways, and that's the toughest part of playing the position.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I mean, and so I think ultimately with that, knowing that and kind of being acquainted with guys, kind of to your point, I mean, and Colby Griffin's the nicest guy. Richard Sherman, nicest guy off the field. Dale Ramsey, Marcus Peters, go meet Marcus Peters right now, ask for autograph. He'll sign it for you. He'll sign it for you. I mean, honestly, these are the nicest dudes off the field. On the field, you have to survive. It's not. People don't understand. It's not a gentleman's sport. Yes, it's a gentleman's sport. You shake your hand with your opponent before the game and after the game if you feel like it. But on the field, it's a fucking battlefield. It's a war zone. You need to survive, like literally survive, And again, that's how whatever advantage you can get. All is fair in love and war. You're trying to win the war. Get your advantage and make sure you win. So,
yeah, exactly. Facts.
100%. Wheel ballers only, baby. All right. So yeah, no, bro. I talk shit too back in the day. Back in the day, I talk shit, but I was more the quiet kind of lead. I like leading by example more than anything because I like being quiet. Because when you're a special teamer, you have to you can't really talk that much, but you can back up someone if they're talking, or you can respect someone if they're talking, if they're able to back it up. You know what I mean? And yeah.
I talk a little mess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. If you
I
talk,
say I love it. I say it. Hey, I say if it makes them bring their A game, I'm gonna bring my A game.
It's all friendly. Exactly. You want to bring out the best in your opponent. So that's why you want talking on the field. Keep that shit on the field and keep going, baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we do. So 100%. All right, I think that pretty much closes out for NFL playoff. Oh, but now today's CFP Monday. I already got Colby Griffin's pick for Ohio State, Alabama, and we're both rolling with the Tide. Who you rolling with and why?
Man, I'm roll Tide, baby. Look, so the fact that Alabama probably has one of the most prolific college offenses we've ever seen this year. Like your receiver has 20 touchdowns, your running back has 24 touchdowns. It's insane. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout or anything. I'm just, you're just like Alabama may not be the defensive stalwart that it has been in the past, but it's just you just can't argue that. Justin Fields and in Ohio State's run game is good. Their receivers are still good, but it's like I just think Alabama edges them out.
And I think so too. I think I agree with that take because Shannon was talking about it again today. You're gonna have to put up 30. You're gonna have. It's gonna have to be again. It's gonna have to be in the 30s because
Yeah.
it's been a long time since Alabama hasn't had a game where they've scored 30 or more.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying Justin Fields, Ohio, isn't capable of doing that, but who do they really have? You know what I mean? To kind of do that with.
Yeah.
Alabama, like you said, Najee Harris coming out. And then Devontae.
Antioch.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's like he's from Antioch, man. He's like
Yeah, from
Cali boy.
Antioch, boy. It's funny. One of my boys, Alex Barral, shout out Alex if you listen to this. He knows actually Najee, so they're tight. So I mean, like Najee may be able to come on this podcast. My fingers are crossed like this if he can come on.
There
So
you
I mean,
go.
yeah, it'd be great. But I mean, whatever. But Devontae Smith, to me personally, obviously me playing the position slot, him being a wide receiver, the first wide receiver to win is Desmond Howard in 1991. And the guy's a consummate professional. I mean, he's going to be a perennial Pro Bowl in the NFL. He gets the NFL. He's gonna have
He's
instant
gonna make
impact.
somebody happy.
He's gonna make someone happy and rich. A lot of money, a lot of wins. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you're not the tide's gonna roll. Roll Tide, roll. I'm not even an Alabama fan. You know what I mean?
Me neither.
Yeah.
I can't stand Alabama, but at the same time, like facts are facts, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're looking at all the stuff in front of you, seeing everything, like just eye test, you're like, Alabama's gonna win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess then I don't think there's anything else that we missed. Anything else you want to cover? I guess for the shit. I think we got everything.
I think we're good because I think it was something else you tagged me in. I gotta remember.
Let me find out. Let me find it. I'm scrolling.
I know.
Let me scroll. Cleveland Browns. Already talked about that. Nope.
Yeah.
Narratives. Yep. We talked about done. We talked about the different types of things. Brown. Oh, yep. One thing I forgot. Browns set the record for most first quarter points in a playoff game in NFL history yesterday with 28 points.
Oh yeah. That one. Yeah, I feel like we're good on that.
Cordell Patterson basically saying, "What the fuck was the greatest moment in the playoff, in my opinion." That was the greatest moment ever.
Nickelodeon hella blocked that.
Let's see. The Browns, you mentioned kind of, without the coach. So Pfeiffer, the acting special teams coach. Pfeiffer was and Joel Bitonio, Denzel Ward, Kevin Johnson, and Kadero Hodge were out, and Alex Van Pelt, who was the offensive coordinator, was calling the plays offensively. So go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No. I was still looking. Hold on, because I think it was shit. Hold on, because I know it was something else regarding to the games. We'll figure it out later. We can talk. We'll talk about it another time.
Yes, we will. And probably next week when we have to recap the divisional. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. That pretty much closed out this episode of the NFL Wildcard Weekend wrap up. I'm Asif. That's Hashim. If you watch on YouTube, shout out all of the shout outs we already made. I'm not shout out anyone else, motherfuckers. So just tune next week for more recaps.
All right. It's like, hey, be healthy, man, and be safe out here. So wear a mask.
Yes, sir. Be wearing masks. That's our PSA. 81 Podcast is a public health announcing service. Thanks to Hashim Zaire Houston. So we're doing great things. Oh, man. All right, brother. I'll talk soon.
All right. Talk to you later.